2, which maybe isn't the nuttiest, but 21 kills on the map for his average on Vertigo, and a 1.15 average on the map that he shows no signs of slowing down on. That's certainly quite impressive to see. And it means that we'll have to see what Godsent can do. They're going back to Ancient after choking in overtime and struggling to recover what should have been a 2-0 on their own map pick. Hopefully they can show that they've learned something in that little bit of break time to talk. And we'll spend a little bit of time to talk on a break and rest and recover before we get the second game underway shortly.
Look, tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on site. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride. No need for the telephone hype, nah. No need for the snoozing. Big whip outside, I'm cruising. Big stick inside, no losing. Better watch out for the snake and Judas is. Don't ask them who this is. I bet they know what I'm moving in. I bet I show it into a dim. How you hate and then lose again? How you hating my vibes? Why you wasting my time? Getting hype on my line. Tell a man I don't want feedback, I just want relax. Brand new whip, two-tone, I need that brand new hit. You know, like lean back, brand new bits I live in. We back, man, you never gon' lie. Cause get them on sight now, let them on light. That way they know I'm alright. Just look at my life, I'm living alright. I'm nice, you know I'm alright. Cause looking like Christ, no need for the hype or fight or telephone vipers. No need for the telephone vipers. No need for the liars. I don't watch your moves or priors. I got much to do, I'm biased. Big bosses move in silence, watch it. No need for the liars. I don't watch your moves or priors. I got much to do, I'm biased. Big bosses move in silence. Yeah, me, I'm moving quiet. Ask me, I need me an island. New watches, perfect timing. No need for the surface shining. Ask me, I need me a few. I need me an island, I'm keeping it true. The man, I'm a wild, I'm keeping it cool. No need for the telephone hype from you. Yeah, tell a man no trouble. I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on side. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride. No need for the telephone hype, yeah. Tell a man no trouble. I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on side. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride. No need for the telephone hype, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on side. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride. No need for the telephone hype, nah. wanna know who the fuck to trust, is he my friend or my foe? I'm a ex draw, yeah, she give me that clean ass roll. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm good at artists, silly, I'm Bob, Bambi. Baby's yellow, text, just wanna give me like candy. Running through racks, track me, I run up the racks like an athlete. Big facts, you're at the dick, 6 flags, ballin' like Dink, told her I love her, I ain't really mean that, yeah. Now they just people like friends, remember way back she was love. These bitches sneaky can't cover, I got 4 hoes that went top. I remember I was selling dog food, no kibbles, just to get me some skrilla. Remember I was really on the block like Tetris, just to get me some chip. Surfing, rock in the parking lot, my weed lighter, like they gave up lot. I be on her mind like non-stop, yeah, had to cut the little dot, no tomahawk. Remember smoking blunts with my friends, seconds a couple of days, yeah, lost a life to the fame. That's that shit got me upset, but at 8, then I finally thought, yeah, I'm funkin' with side. 4-4, I'm a zombie, it's a girl, it's a wine. These little boys think I'm cocky, Papa straight like Mary Poppins. Gilbert's still got eyes, smoking on killer, I eat a coffee. My bitch drip like Mary Poppins. Gilbert's still got eyes, smoking on killer, I eat a coffee. Now they see people like friends, remember way back she was love. These bitches sneaky can't cover, I got 4 hoes that went top. I remember.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We had a bit of a quick map number 1. It was scrappily recovered to at least get a little bit better. But again, we're going now to Ancient, which should be a shoo-in for GODSENT. But if they're taking this best of 3, they need to show something here, and after what they just recently showed, certainly was far from the best, and with how dominated they were on Vertigo, it's got me quite a bit worried. See, we're expecting a good CT round win rate, though I feel like has to be possibly a little bit dated, as I feel like this map's certainly a lot more T-sided. And speaking of that, if Sprout are ending up taking that T-side again on GODSENT's map pick, which, I mean, it feels like a bold move, and it feels scary to say that, but it's what you should do, I imagine, in most situations. It seems like teams traditionally like playing that defense first just to get warmed up and not have to worry about those offense level strats. Just play some of your own game and deal with the defense first. So a bit interesting to see how that'll go. As mentioned, we've seen times before in Pro League so far, every single Ancients played, that's only been twice, averaging about a 63% win rate. So that's quite a stark contrast to the 50-50 objective goal. They've certainly fixed the map from being too CT-sided, but at what cost, I have to ask, as it seems like it's completely flip-flopped the other way. Now the question is, what GODSENT can do between this little break they're having just this minute and the series that they just had to be able to talk this through and find improvement going into what is effectively this first round of Swiss stage. So it's not the biggest deal, perhaps, room to come back, but you certainly don't want to be taken out, and especially in a stompy fashion. I mean, if there's a team to do it, Sprout's a pretty good bet, but with how much people are expecting GODSENT to perform, you'd certainly hope that they would be able to hold up to those expectations. As you can see, those BetBoom odds have swung the other way. Sprout now with a 1.42 favor against the 2.8 of GODSENT. Bit of a rough initial showing. Hopefully better for the next lineup. GODSENT, as they are starting on that T side, but Sprout seem well aware, able to get that initial pick from Stair, and looking to find more. Stair able to make it a double, but okay, Draken, make it 3. Fully shut down the entire defense single-handedly with that block, able to make some magic happen, and that USP sticks out. So Lonks is caught, able to find one. So of course, even if he found the second, there's no way for him to find time for that defuse. Not without the kit, at least, which was dropped by Barry in that corner when Draken mowed the entire GODSENT team down. Or the entire Sprout team down, rather. Getting a little bit flip-flop. You can see a decent investment in HEs specifically early, looking for punish damage. They are willing to force this fight early, contend against GODSENT, winning the first pistol. Successful Jaguar control obtained. Doing exactly what they can to make this work. See, Dragon's looking for that opportunity to be given to him. Nade should have masked the sound cue enough to know that he's dropped. So a bit of a question there, as they constantly keep using these smokes to delay. They don't want him to get this cave control. For good reason, as this sort of is your key to the retake. You're testing the patience of GODSENT for them to respect, throw another set of utility, and get ready to run into that site. Rusty to take that initial contact with pistol, able to mow him down, but of course the MP9 so deadly. Yonks and Stair able to find one each. Now no way to steal any more of those, but Siphon able to freely run to the site, pre-fire, pick up the Galil, and work with Zello to potentially trade. You can see Plopsky so low, they're worried about that bomb dropping, which is exactly what happens. Now CTR has to find cover to plant this bomb. As Zello lurks through, he has the info, finds 2 good shots onto 1, but it's a good trade to follow up. Joel with the response. Surprisingly not going to try to pick up the Galil's a minor mistake, but I think that's going to be what costed them, as in fact Joel did have it available, it looks like. Or Joel had his Galil available. Side of Sprout that was getting mixed up and didn't pick up that stolen Galil. However, don't forget, you can steal yourself a solid deal through BetBoom. You can click through the banner below to receive a $15 free bet for a new user sign-up bonus to get you involved with the site and the service. That's simple, and it's just as simple for ZTR to dome Good old Lonks out of this round. Position for a third is Sprout forced on the double eco after the force failing. Bold move and almost panned out. Saved by the fact that the gold can just hide in this mid position. Finally caught down by the USPs. Any remaining USPs will be cut down before they can find any rewards to reap from the damage they provided. Be a fairly clean 3-0 start. A little bit of concern going into the force buys. And I guess with everyone having all the utility for the most part they want on Sprout, the only catch being is that there's an MP9 on Sayer. He's been able to anchor this position consistently. And now the fight begins. Initially starting with some classic mid-control situations. Wanting to be able to get that early control for free with no response going in. And now the question becomes, how much do they want to risk directly breaking into that B site with 3 players now picked off, just unable to find anything? Sprout surprisingly finding a way to win these individual duels and catch GODSENT off guard. Their way. I mean, do you want to save this AWP? Your money isn't the strongest just yet on this GODSENT side. But also, you give away so much time, they could try to hunt you down if they're feeling bold enough and prepared. You see Siphon just single-handedly holding mid and the A site for info. And with that bomb dropped in spawn, I'm considering they're just holding for any potential exit. Just with ZTR trying to lurk mid to find an opportunity to get that AK picked up, and they'll put it to good use. Able to scavenge that. Didn't want to save an MAC 10, sorry, into the next. Understandable desire, but with Lonks set up so close on this position, still the possibility for ZTR to spray him down. This little burn angle is very disgusting, and I'd like to see restraint from Sprout. There we go. You want to be able to build up this economy so you can try to get a streak of rounds that's fairly dominant, as they have done so far. Don't want to fight the economy game with the T's, as they can always find more effective ways to get good plants in. And just always be significantly ahead and leading in that economy. So it's a game you can't afford to mess around with without some significant consequences. Speaking of which, Plopsky with a good headshot onto Zello. Feels like a rare situation to say it, though Siphon with a fantastic response, strafing through. Forcing Rusty and crew to be able to lurk on the B-bomb site, but that's okay, 4v3. Just need to find that opportunity. The sound cue's given away, his position's known, and Lux is aware, but not that prepared. And the off angle from Rusty, no vision of his position being given away, means Siphon leaves himself completely open to him. And with an op shot of Draken as the cherry on top, GODSENT able to immediately deny the streak from going any further and get 4. Looking a little bit better on this start than in the previous, perhaps. Well, that might be a good game to look over at the moment. As go through their matches, seems like there's a little bit of an issue. The match they were working on that's yet to be completed later. is interesting enough to see. Oh, it's just because the match is delayed tomorrow. A little bit unfortunate. Hard to look up the stats to see exactly how that Ancient went for them. But they're looking a lot better here. Considering it's such an OT brawl. Fighting through for it. Of course, it was the CT side. It looks like both these teams found most of their success, interestingly. 6 rounds against Partisan earlier today. For each T side half. So GODSENT already chasing towards that 6-point score line that they're hungering for. But Sprout prepared to take a stop to it once again. Putting 2 players aside and Lonks with this potential off angle for mid control, but swinging wide, pushing more Curious, leaving himself exposed. Gets caught out, taken down, and now it's 3v3. Sure, Dragon and Rusty are tagged. With the off, there's always the possibility of insane shot coming through. Everyone in Sprout is patiently holding their nerve. Good old disconnect real quick. Handle and Draken, hearing that bullet, wants to go for the peek, and it gives away his position to know to look for the shot preemptively. And now this A site's fully cracked up. They've given full control of it away. Dozello, good shot on the Draken. That's no more op to worry about. All you need to do is find some info, maybe a second, to get the space to win this round. The default plan is standard at this point, and they only have a flashbang or 2 to help them. They have to go for this fight, and the ZTR will land that headshot onto Barry. Not prepared for such an awkward situation to find success, and he even gets dinked directly in the head without the head armor. They'll be able to follow up on the next shot, but no defuse kit, no clutch to come on in, and Rusty will even take him on the way out. Will cost him his own life, but he certainly valued damage to that CT economy far more than yours. And that has to be a round that they're happy with. As that is essentially a situation that Sprout should have gotten away with. Good round to call a timeout to go over mistakes quickly, figure out what might have allowed Sprout to keep this round so contentious and what can be done to stop it and keep this just as dominant as it has been going the other way around in map number 1. And if they want to get to map number 3, they will have to bring us there. This team prepped to go against it. It should be Sprout. So they also have fantastic success on Ancient. Not prepared to be tested like this. At least initially. See all the early util being thrown. Trying to deny any possibility of early positions of these Sprout players that they love using so much to utilize on their T side. But the boost peak is perfect. Baits out Draken's shot. Forces them back. They're just initially done with pistols. The wide swing. Caught. Lonks taken down. And they're going to just lurk under it to try to catch him out. Trying to go for the quick boost. But he's holding the crosshair still right at that angle. Will easily land the shot the second he shows up. They have a good read that Rusty's in cave. Hard clear him out. But of course, it's Plupsky with Joel to find the damage. Open up the site, and Zello able to find one with the USP, but unable to scavenge that AK or anything else in time to cause more trouble. then it would have been worse. See, such an important hot shot to be able to land. And the sound cues give it all away. If it wasn't for that, Zello might have been able to sneak by, and they wouldn't even know what happened until the round was done. Now lane control successfully grabbed. GODSENT already got their average goal. When it comes to stereotypical rounds, at least. But why not go for more when you can? Left in this 4v4, they're setting up the A-site plant, and Barry has the flank to deal with it all, even completely blind. He's so patient, and that's a double from the coach. Lonk's able to easily finish it off, and that's going to be smokes thrown everywhere to disorient this last player of Rusty. Able to get a good spray on the first. Should be enough cover for them to get away with the defuse, but it does take a little bit. And it's just all up to this one play from the coach to make all the difference, to allow Sprout to get two, potentially recover, and try to go for at least a lead on the CT half once again. Would be the dream scenario, and their sample pool size is quite a bit on the lower side. Or what's not on the lower side is anyone in GODSENT. They're interested in some B control, but interested in just holding towards Cubby in the lane and getting spam down to 25. Good shots from ZTR. A little bit of a hop at his step. Old Stairs able to find two, and that's a headshot that should be audibly heard even through the wall. And understanding that is confirmed damage that he can report. Which jump peaks for info. Glock runs away. Stair does what he can, but man, everyone in Sprout starting to turn on up, find a response, and it's clean shots all across to get 6. Still on the side of GODSENT versus the 3 now of Sprout. A chance to tie this up. Despite how rough the showing in the beginning was. Perhaps this is where GODSENT's mind still trained. Expecting to make moves towards good old Ancient before bringing us to a third. And we're going to see more reason for that as another timeout by GODSENT is pulled on to us to respond. Gives time for Sprout to talk about this timeout too. Again, getting the rest of the economy figured out, having that settled at least for the next few rounds is essential. And if Sprout can keep it up, there's nothing stopping them from that being the case. They have the full kits, the full armor, everything you can ask for on the CT side. Or like an extra spare backup AK or something. You see just the trusty, tried and true 5 rifles. And there's a goal to spam through the smoke, but CTR actually leaves his back open exposed, trying to get the spray on a player that wasn't there. But it's good info and exposes the team a little bit. Stair is able to just isolate and take down Plopsky. Bit of silliness there. Patiently resetting. Fully giving up the A side of the map, which means the Lonks can go for all the info in the world that Yellow is giving to him. And they just go for the trades, just trying to fight one-on-one. And it breaks perfectly evenly, allowing Syphon to find the rest, leaving it to this 1v1. Will hold the bomb. Now, just trying to find the right timing. He wants to rely on that trigger, on that AWP, to be able to get the instant kill. The minor amounts of inflicted damage is completely unconfirmed. And it will be a 7th confirmed for GODSENT as they keep this going. You can see it's all thanks to this. Whenever you have these top players able to just dominate a game, control every round, it is so important to find ways to reset that, deny it, trade it, and at least have a response. Of course, creeping on up at least a little bit. A good tag from Zello. Stair follows up. That's a 2-man advantage. Of course, Zello caught out a little bit too aggressive. That's where the problem comes in. How do you recover this 3-on-3 with the lost sight control? Barry's trying to find that way, but failing to do so just yet. Just stalling however he can, lurking through the smoke, playing around CT, denying the rotations from coming in, if not making them take even longer on the side, which is exactly what they're doing. It means GODSENT keep stealing away rounds with these bomb plants, and Sprout are unable to set themselves up for success to get the defuse. Have to wonder what the next big play for them is going to be. Just with that, get put into round number 11. Pretty quick, the pace GODSENT have been playing. Besides a couple of mid-rounds that it slowed into. It's been staying towards a trusty fast pace. See Draken topping the entries, hunting for more. Scoped in with that AWP, and Barry will try to take the op peek right against him, or at least the rifle peek. Get taken down. That jump peek for info. Again, it's just another pick. I don't know how GODSENT are fighting these. There's not really much support flash utility. They're just finding the way to win the aim duels. Now, of course, enough tracers given away. Lonks will find a response with a headshot. But it is with, once again, an A bomb site lost, an effective default plant made, and not a single way to handle the problem. See, taking a little bit of patience over time, messing with the good old chains, I suppose, towards spawn. There are CT players down here after all, though I would be concerned if any of them even thought of the possibility of peeking this. Just hold your strong position, save these weapons to get a full buy in the next, and try to tie up the score line the best you can, considering GODSENT now have 9 and are setting up to get even more. And again, we have a similar story in the fact that Sprout isn't calling any timeouts at all to try to adjust. Of course, this map is arguably T-sided at this point. Imagine you want to be a little bit worried. Although, not just yet. Having this double op setup feels like a dangerous chemistry combo to combine. With that, man, these players are just so patient at the moment. The first few rounds were going away so quickly, and now they don't want to make mistakes. They want to keep this lead, do whatever it takes to get it, try to effectively force players off that angle, get good utility to keep them blind. And hear what sounds like one singular player, in this case likely CTR, throwing every single bit of support utility imaginable under the sun to get the lose site. That B site taken, and okay, nice shot onto Zello. Rusty causing a bit of a ruckus. Of course, Siphon will at least be able to find that first. It's a good pre-fire guess, but both of them staying backed up in this cave next to site means there's little way for him to go for this. And it won't stop him. The molly's good, but of course the round will be won by Godsent. The setup for 10, looking for 12, and a bit of a redemption arc after what in the previous. That we can reset. The M4's back out, a couple of Galeals for Godsent. Certainly far from ideal, but certainly good enough. Especially when there's a lack of utility. On Sprout, but Steer is able to find a double somehow, and Barry with one leads it to a 2-on-2. CTR has such heavy damage put onto him. He has no information of that, of course. Just with it, trying to hunt Rusty down with the spam. They're desperate to get that cave control, finally able to isolate him out. Zello removes him, surprisingly misses the follow-up op shot, but gets a follow-up shot. To get that good old defuse anyways. Takes a bit for the bombs. There's no kits available at all on the CT side. So they're happy to take their rounds. They're going to be left behind one or two rounds. And if they can get the 5-10, I've said before, they can make this work. What is the goal? What is the game plan? You're just getting everything you can before you get on that T side? Is that going to be where Godsent struggle and Sprout are able to make the difference and catch up, if not get ahead? Especially if they win that pistol. See some pretty heavy donut utility not connecting. He's something worth noting. Smokes are thrown, trying to stop the push the best they can. But again, it is a fantastic play. Barry, not someone I expected to be second opping, but I suppose if you're coaching and maybe not practicing as much the opposite powerful weapon to find success with. And the fact it's with the double up means there's no way to avoid him here, meaning that Plopsy's left in a 1v4, gets caught out in mid. Sprout able to recover this, bring it to a 5-10. A competitive first half, but a Godsent looking a lot better after the previous. Reviewing over the good old blessed timer. And we can see those odds have flipped all the way back around in favor of Godsent. People liking them a lot more than Sprout. But there's plenty of time for the comeback still. As essentially, as long as they win pistol, it's not really a comeback. Just sort of needed at that point. When you add that on top of the fact that there's nothing else working in their favor, it is a pretty nice situation to have. Like how nice Ancient is a map to appreciate in all of its relaxing ambient glory. Good old classic positions like the Red Room we're so familiar with. And setting up for that initial contact, it's 4 towards this B site. Willing to take the risk for whatever's going on. And there's that initial contact. Zello unable to find one, but of course it's a good trade from Lynx. Follow, as well as one from Siphon. Setting the duels, changing the engagement of what player to walk into to try to find that slightly better advantage. It's not much to work with, but it's something. And of course, with this T side of Sprout finding success with a minute left, this is exactly what you're worried about on Godsent, though we'll hold that thought as CTR has such a massive flank. I have to say that he doesn't have the weapon to do it. Kicking and screaming. Though a good surprise on the first, and of course Barry is fully armorless. That won't stop him from taking the peak, let alone the round. Absolutely beautiful first pistol to follow up. And that's exactly what Sprout need to stay in this game. So they want to deny the chance of bringing it to a third. All they need to do, get enough resources to support themselves. Winning round's the best money resource you can get, other than possibly stealing an AWP. And some very deep smokes being thrown as the AXQ comes in, and of course alert from Siphon to take out one mid. The A players brawl in their duel, and it's Barry once again with that MAC-10 getting work done using the paper shredder. And surrounded on most sides. It's a good old stare. One of them taken out. And this crouching box position should cover him. And it does so perfectly. 7 for Sprout. And this is the entire thing. When they recovered that 5-10 lead, all it takes is that pistol, a clean conversion on the full buy, and all that space you created on your own T side is completely vanished and erased. why you have to wonder what the game plan will be moving forward. How do Godsent recover on this defense that they've been struggling with so far? They need to find success in. Here's something they need for a bit of success. To find a free open B bomb site. That's a find they're going to be happy with. Maybe not too happy with the random lost player towards mid. So that's all for the second. After all, it was a launch with his own personal MAC-10. Taking a bit of inspiration from the man Barry, taking those engagements. Running around with the MAC-10. Saying, give me a turn. And oh man, that's a difficult angle to land on a player. To land it that cleanly is impressive. It's like how it's impressive. Plopsky was able to find one with the MAC. And that is 3 players lost. You can see a little bit of frustration from Stayer. No reason to stay there. And it will, of course, cost him his life. The T side able to afford these mistakes a lot easier. So it shouldn't be the biggest problem. But man, they need to start finding something on the CT side, but instead it's Zello with another pick early, and with it they're just pushing into the site. Why not make it a second one now obtained by launch? Yard did find time to pass the molly, but the flashbang just in case is perfect. Means he's isolated, the trades are clean, and the last player swinging out to try to clutch out the round the best he can. Unable to transfer, Zello saves the day after that bomb planter is taken down and denied. Sprout 1 round away from closing it, and Godsent 2 timeouts remaining to try to find a way to recover what is essentially their map pick fully gliding away from them after having such a good initial start. Trying to do exactly what they can, but this is just starting to get a little bit emotionally rough. Wonder what their game plan is. Yeah, and this is just more reason to believe that the map just isn't CT-sided at all anymore like it used to. It'll probably be CT-sided in most of your pugs or any other casual settings you play, but when you can coordinate the rushes, the executes, understand the timings to exploit the map and utility, just puts you on this other level. Especially with the timings on this team side. You see 2 players on Godsent playing aggressive towards his lane. 4, in fact, if you add them up with these pistols. Trying to find the gap. Good spam, and Rusty's been brought down to 7. He was hoping to find a quick little shotgun peek with the Eagle, catch someone off guard, take them out early. But instead, it's Rusty taking the early damage, and Sprout able to freely run wherever they please. Could have been the first player some contact was found with, especially with a deep angle being provided by CTR. It seems like he doesn't want to give that away just yet, and oh man, that is a disgusting headshot from Barry. This man may be 32, but he is holding up his own on this Sprout team. They'd be even deadlier with a different star like Refresh. But Barry seems to hold his own weight with no issue. And with that, they're finally able to catch the pistols exposed, rotating the A site, and they know they can safely plant on the other with 25 seconds left. Perfect mind games. And of course, they're going to try to at least somewhat go for the retake with those without weapons, which would be any, as Zello just casually lands a no-scope through the smoke onto Rusty. GODSENT just have to scavenge and work with what they have, which isn't a lot, after having a pretty clean 10-5 half. To just find nothing on this CT side is questionable. To immediately tie this up so quickly. Now, of course, the loss bonus from all these rounds in a row will help them. They were also on the eco, so they'll be able to get that AWP, get out all that utility, get everything they were hoping for. They still have to find success with it. Vision continues, and Longs wants to go for that early mid-timing. The flashbangs are perfect, and so is the entry. That's an early kill, and they know there's one player still in this A site, Max, as the rotations go in. A little bit late on smoking CT to allow you to explode onto the site. That's okay, you got it 4v4. Utility forces these players back for a second to throw a molly. The second molly's thrown away. They're going to focus on mid-control, and this almost feels like a counterplay. Just boosting someone in tree, taking the bomb that direction. You have no info of mid. Donut's completely covered with a CT crawling in it. The last players are towards T-spawn. Flanks from everywhere. You can see that as they plant for their outer ramp position to the best of his ability. Not in the open, of course, and now that flank's been given away. Rusty's found one. Joel with the follow-up. Barry and Zello immediately out of the round, put into the 2v4. Able to find one. Siphon with the double. Make it 3. Ready to clutch it all individually. Draken, the last one left, able to find the first. Now has to throw a smoke down on the bomb. Of course, fakes it as he has to find a defuse kit, but he can't. Has to just go for the kill. Maybe try to run. And Stayer will deny either possibility, trying to do his best to run away, but understands that he is toast to that good old explosive package. If it wasn't for long that initial opening, he could have even doubled up. He didn't even need it, just that initial frag to find the space that even though GODSENT find 2, it's this amazing triple spray down from Siphon, able to recover things and keep this lead in the favor of Sprout. This is starting to become a little bit of a nightmare. You'd certainly hope something would be found. This is the second time that the CT defense for GODSENT has been essentially non-existent. Gotta have something figured out. Can't afford to lose defense rounds on CT so reliably. And even if you do on a map like Ancient that we expect to be very T-sided now, again, you saw that presence from Sprout. They were occasionally breaking around, keeping things competitive and interesting throughout every single one of them. GODSENT, meanwhile, haven't been able to break through a single round, and every single clutch has been choked out, no matter how much of an advantage they've had on the retake. Will it be different this time? Speaking of the nostalgia, the B site comes back. And with an initial op pick onto ZTR. Leaving the line on Draken with the op. But of course, Siphon's taking the close duel, swings wide. Draken takes him down with the AWP, swings wide, and it's the flank. It's all up to steer the ship and recover barely pulling things back just in time to get that B site under control. Stare with a 3K. Once again, someone stepping up on the side of Sprout. The second Godsent get creative, do something different, give them a chance on this defense. They can't catch a break. Everything's taken away, and Zello's even holding that tight little sliver gap to be able to see Joel as he goes up the ramp to peek for this retake. And man, what a shot from Zello to start it. And even though they have the 3 players with the pistols fully kitted up, ready to deal with Zello, stuck with that AWP still in his hands, Stare able to go through the cavern as no one was holding it. A massive risk they took on this defense, and it doesn't pay off. It gets used against them. Don't forget, you can use something yourself by clicking the banner below the stream to receive a $15 free bet when you sign up as a new user. And these odds just favor Sprout by the second. Plopsky burnt down to 53. Rather burnt by bullets. The HP getting spent down to 43. More spam coming through directly onto him. Can't catch a break for a second. And now Joel, tagged by the op, peeking mid, brought down to 16. No kills is left into 5v5. But with all that damage, it's so problematic. And a second player lurking through the smoke, there's no reason anyone would expect Barry to be here. Lonks lost a little. Unprepared for these off angles on the B site, but they do have the space to get onto it. I'm still a little bit slow on Zello. They're going to be okay with that. Barry's going to be looking for just the right time to activate on the flank, hero rotation, and seal this round. That is essentially a 2v4 currently. Patiently waiting, finds the first. CTR's low, but he hasn't found anything else just yet. And that head should be seen. Cello's realized it. He lands the flick. It's a fantastic shot, and he's fully rotating off the B bomb site, and he has that bomb after all. That kill was everything, as now they're able to plant on A for CT and do whatever they want. They have the time, and Barry can set up his crossfire with them as he lands the flick onto the first, and it's Zello's time now to get a 3 play to clutch Sprout into another situation, but Barry will confirm the second or the third kill for him to get his second. And man, every single time Godsent gets in a good position, they have a chance of success. Sprout always find a way to claw out of this. Just fighting their way through adamantium claws of this Wolverine force of Sprout, always able to grow back into rounds, and these roots cannot be shaken. This is absolutely criminal from Sprout. Godsent calling a timeout, trying to keep things mentally together the best that they can. This is just rough. Everything in full control. Not a single round by Godsent on the CT side. You have to wonder, what are they doing wrong? There's going to be a lot of time they're going to have to spend in the review looking at the defenses, as multiple times now they've struggled on these CT sides. And on a new version of Agent, it's okay. It's okay to have your struggles, to not perform too well. But you have to find something. And leaving yourself exposed like that, CTR, no one to help him push. Sure, he finds a pick onto Locks early, but easily able to lurk through the smoke in response is Siphon. And there's another one down. Joel removed, and they're trying to go for this aggressive play towards B. It's a good play to make. It's one of the better responses I've seen ever since the map changes were introduced initially in the UK scene. I was starting to play the map actively early, and Draken seems to make a miracle for their first round. But even then, he somehow gets brought down to 15 through the smoke. Siphon has a minute to work with 1v3. He's already gotten one 3K to clutch things around, and he's interested in getting another. No way he clears this. No way he's ready for Plopsky. And okay, he's not going to worry about it just yet. It feels like a matter of time. Plopsky just being so patient. Draken focused on having this very long tripwire angle, and Plopsky to get the info to surround him from behind. The time is closing as the nade's thrown, and it's a clean headshot to finish him off. And GODSENT finally gets something on their CT side to keep the hopes alive. A bit of a miracle. The mercies found by Draken's Hand. No armor and a deagle is all that's needed to make some magic happen in this donut position. Now Sprout themselves calling a timeout. They understand GODSENT have finally broken through, understand how he found that punishment to find the double deagle. Don't want that to happen consistently. Want to be able to find a way to break that back through into your favor instead. And only let them get away with these cheeky situations so much. Get into round number 25. The chances running slim for GODSENT. Fighting so hard after delays, technical issues, and failing to close Ancient once today. It could happen again, a recurring nightmare before they're able to rest. To be able to find some kind of influence, and a good mid lurk from CTR should be able to catch the tease, but he's just playing a little bit too passive, able to finally find the double. But of course, it's a double in response from Stare and Cypher, and it's up to Rusty with the rotation just to keep that man advantage alive for GODSENT. But at what cost? Does Sprout, of course, find the gap to get a plant on the B site after all of this happens, which is just absolutely insane. You have 3 players dedicated towards mid. They brawl, get somewhat taken down, and you still find a way back into it? Stare's aware of this, immediately takes the first duel and gets back before Irresponse can come in. It's a perfect pop flash, but he only finds the one. Rusty able to recover while blind, and Locks able to find the one, and he just knifes out, runs away, is able to catch the rotation. It's a clutch from him. It's his time to shine. These Sprout players, one at a time, finding the way to clutch these rounds that Sprout have no reason to be winning. Single-handedly on their own, able to just hop around and find everything. That pop flash was effectively the 3rd kill for Lonks in that 1v3 to find it. And all thanks to him. Sprout are 14 and 2 rounds away, and a bit of a technical pause to compensate for the fact, likely, that GODSENT have in fact burnt through all 4 of their tacticals, to at least give them a second to breathe real quick before going into this next one, as it could be their last chance of keeping their hopes alive in this first game before being brought down to the 0-1 group of Swiss stage. Sprout have looked absolutely immaculate. Runner GODSENT, a team I've been excited for to see with this new roster. Plenty of talented players showing success. There's something about these CT sides that seem absolutely lost and clueless. The fact that Sprout are able to get these miracles with. Now, this isn't just due to good old GODSENT on their own. It requires Sprout's players to be able to perform, to allow these opportunities to flourish. But they found it every single time, except for one, just barely going the other way. In the last 5, the clutch odds on these players right now must be absolutely comical on the side of Sprout. After taking your own map pick, maybe a little bit rough on your own CT side, perhaps could do a little bit of work there. And again, GODSENT is a T-side powerhouse at the moment. Failing to find that success to climb the ranks. Perhaps we're starting to see the issues of why that early smoke and just freely pushing through with the MAC-10. Unaware of the possibility of the Cubby position, Barry will be removed by CTR. Or that won't stop Lonks from taking his own turn to what I thought would be running through the smoke, but understanding there could be a lot more presence here towards mid, it'd be better to just give it up and slow down the pace. However, slowing down the pace allows Draken to get a comfortable shot in to Stair. And now Cypher has to lurk onto this A site. They're able to find the solo player. It's still heavy damage onto Siphon. And everyone from the CT side rotating. This is one of those rounds you have to win if you're Godsent. It would be so difficult to win successfully. It's a good first, and wait a minute, it's a double. If not for the one tap from Siphon through the smoke, headshotting through walls onto Rusty, and he has 3 HP to make this clutch happen, and he no-scopes it to get 15! What the hell is that from Sprout? That's a round Godsent should have had in the bag. We've seen these man advantages for the A-site retakes always gone their way. Godsent keep finding these opening man advantages. But it doesn't matter. Siphon with a clean headshot and grabs the op just mid-range and no-scopes like simple to get 15 for Sprout. And Godsent can't find a break, and after that, a timeout is called, just letting Godsent sink in what just happened, choking in their skin as they can't close out a single map in their favor. This is a nightmare. What do you do on the side of Godsent? You need 4 more to tie and get 5 rounds on your own CT side. But it looked like a miracle for them just to find 1. And not only that, they're still on a mix buy. There's a couple of MP9s and Famai. Good old FAMAS. 1 of each M4, and those M4s had to buy it without any utility. And with how many times the bomb often gets planted, they don't have the money for the defuse kits. Just going for the utility, hoping they can take out all 5 players. Sprout at least find that bomb plant. That alone could be GG, if not for the fact that there's a gap in that smoke that Cello was able to find the initial pick. 4 players left alive for Godsent to keep their hopes alive in this best of 3. Before getting sent down to the 0-1, Joel able to find 1, of course, able to make magic happen always with that MP9. Though how much is that going to matter when his teammates falter in front of him? And Barry can take out rifles with an MP9. This coach is absolutely ludicrous. Lurking through the smoke, the gap's found. Plopsky will be able to take Barry down without a response. Still, it is 2v3 and a little bit too many bullets spent. Plopsky able to find a second and an AK. Of course, sound cues given away. Cello going for the swing, and all of that flashbang utility forces them to get back. And of course, they don't have any information towards A. They have to back up and reset. Try to find another rifle if possible, and have Joel single-handedly hold this. Siphon's just waiting for the opportunity to arise. Hard clearing, swinging around, doing a full 360, able to confirm the site's clear for his teammate. And that's exactly what Joel tried to capitalize on to find the first and the double. It's Joel to keep the hope alive for Godsent. 3 more rounds needed on CT. This is far from impossible. They just haven't shown the ability to do it. And if there's a time to do it, now would be it. They want that 3rd map of Inferno, a chance to redeem themselves after being made fools on Vertigo. This is the time. For timings, and now you have a different situation. You're used to CTR being in a aggressive position, but okay, why not just get a double through the smoke to confirm the second? But of course, Siphon has something to say. He's been causing so much trouble consistently this entire game, and he gets another planting, in fact, a little bit for CT. Possibly they go aggressive for this position. They just want to do their best to keep the plant safe. That Deagle able to chip down CTR, but instead it will follow up and take him down. Just able to follow up through the CT short rotation. to take him out, and the time in the smoke favors Zello, but of course it is a 1v2. He finds the first, but not able to find the second for the 3K. Finally, one of these 1v3s goes the way of GODSENT. A bit of mercy after insult, round after round. They're able to keep their mentality together, despite the absurdity, the little bit of a smooch, all the competition. Just any round, anything could be completely taken away. It's insane that they're able to stay in this. Now, HP full, GODSENT have one chance of mercy. Just pistols on Sprout. They shouldn't be able to get much done here. Trading the 4v4. They want to break into this B-site. Siphon changing to the Deagle and just backing off, resetting the situation, trying to go through mid instead. And that's where ZTR has been so reliable. Another double from him on mid, and now they just have to rush into this B-site and hope they can make a miracle happen. It's another 2v4 situation. This time, though, Draken's ready to land the shot, finds it, and Rusty takes his time to ensure he doesn't get taken down. GODSENT find 14 on the freebie. And one last chance in regulation for GODSENT to truly make this full comeback happen. Something I was fully checked out of the possibility, but they've shown they can recover. Felt hopeless after a full straight half, essentially, from Sprout. Looking helpless on the side. Fish caught outside of the barrel, outside of the water, and the physics of that protection. Now Plofsky able to hear a little bit of sound cues through the fire. And the smoke to follow up to try to find some spam. Won't connect, but of course the tracers will be removed to protect him. Just that early molly damage on Stare early. And they're ready to just four-man directly into this B-site and break through it. They don't care, just want to throw a little bit of utility and get some of that cave control. Interested in going for the duels, but suddenly backing away last second. Plofsky and Rusty changing their mind as the smoke fades. The molly will isolate the duels if they were still there. It's a good plan to get out of it, and it's a perfect molly on the door frame. One of the best defensive positions. So now there's nowhere for anyone on GODSENT to be except point blank up close or on this back side to defend. So that's a pretty big smoke to get that coverage. Stare trying to find the peak, but he can't swing wide enough to get that angle on Plofsky. They want to just take this duel on the B site. Everyone is here except for one lurk on both sides. The possibility of setting up for something different. The important thing to note is that this cavern control will be kept by Sprout, and there's only 15 seconds left. They have to go for this bomb plant soon, and Plofsky finding a double through the smoke. It's beautiful spam through this cave. I guess there's a little bit of a gap through it he's able to see. And it is up to Zello to find the response. And it's the flank. The lurk from Siphon finds a double. And suddenly Draken's left 1v2. He has to go for his clutch. Can't do it with the op. Able to find the first with the ZZ. And he's going to just stick the defuse with the kit. Siphon isn't prepared for this. And it is a massive clutch to be able to stick that defuse. And as close as it is, it's going to stay close as the running gun with the ZZ finds its value as we go to OT. But he loves it when we go to OT, and one OT of Ancient wasn't enough for these guys on GODSENT. They have to have a second with it. That's okay. We've seen the same situation the past time. Now the question is, with this being handed towards them, how do they deal with the fact that it's 15-15? GODSENT have been tested to their limits And I feel like Sprout have more they can show them. So if that's the case being brought, what surprises do we have in store? As very early mollies. I feel like they could have gone a little bit quicker on that play. Siphon able to catch the first player of Joel going aggressive on A. A good trade, but of course you can't lurk in that situation. Instead, they're just relying on Plopsky in that A position. The sound cue gives away his position, but he still finds the first and the double with a bit of help from ZTR. They in fact make it 3. A bit of a miracle, and Draken with this flank, of course, should be able to catch Stare out the second he peeks into him. And GODSENT find the first round on the CT side. They're finally recovering. They're getting rounds, and multiple of them in a row. A streak to finally respond to all of the streaks Sprout have been spewing their way. And a chance to get to Inferno. No, we got to get to 19 rounds played to bring it to that third map. With that handled, good flashbang covered. And even still, Sprout are so dedicated towards this B position. A little bit of that lurk towards Siphon that's been causing so much damage. But as they dedicate so heavily towards B, it's going to cost them in health. A direct nade chips them all down, making these M4s far more vulnerable. Draken trying to hold close, and the jump peak is able to read the info, so he just spams him through with the info provided. A beautiful spray down onto Draken. Surprising he holds that position. Plopsky finds a response on to Lonks and immediately smokes off the ramp to keep this B site held. It's the only thing that's keeping the glue together. The pre-fire, the swing, not exactly seeing Stare's position. This is where the spam becomes so dangerous when you don't have that cave position. Possibility to just spam players down with no answer is dangerous, but it's all up to ZTR. He has the info of the rotations, able to catch one of them to leave it 3v4. This should be another set round for GODSENT, or at least that's what I said last time it was in this situation. If there's a team to prove me wrong at the moment, it's Sprout. Being tested to their very core once again, especially with that amazing shot from ZTR. And even Cypher going for the long lurk around mid, being fully caught out. Of course, it's a good op shot, but there's too many players running him down as the bomb is stuck. And it's 17 for GODSENT. They're able to hold through and recover. And they're looking to redeem themselves for the first OT loss earlier today. And what can they do? I spend a second to catch my breath. I think this would be too much for even 2 men to handle. This continues getting absurd. A last chance for Sprout to get around on their T side, something they're suddenly struggling with. Getting a little bit found out and going for the same strat a little too much. Leaning with too much reliance towards that B play. They've been fantastic at getting this tavern control for sure. And that's exactly what they want to set up for once again. It's a good nade, good heavy damage onto 2, and the smoke follow-up is exactly what they want to deny that cave position from being taken. Spam, of course, not connecting. A follow-up molly, keep that player isolated, and Plopsky's doing what he can to look like he's not here. Of course, the late rotate, but they know the mid player's stuck here. They're able to molly him off. CTR denied this time around, and they're going to be holding for the donut rotate, so they take out another, but it's Plopsky again with the flank, with the double, the push through, everyone lurking through smokes, trying to catch players off guard, but of course, Barry able to hide. It's just lurks on lurks on lurks as the kills spread all over the map. There's 30 seconds left to get this bomb down. Rusty needs to run those. He's left at 33. He's aware a player could be behind him. He's left on a timer. Cello left in this clutch to try to land the flick with the op. goes for it, unable to fire the shot in time, a bit too low HP. And we have a flawless CTF from GODSENT. They're setting us up to go to a third map and redeem themselves after all. What an amazing half, able to break through. Finally find something on their CT side, and it's not too late. Able to recover it, make it a 10-5 half, and get all 3 rounds in OT. And we're asking Sprout now to do the same. We haven't seen their CT side in quite a while. Should be able to be plenty of tricks that GODSENT can try to use against them. Catch them off guard. Get them that one round they need to close. Again, this is another full best of 3. So if GODSENT can find that one more round, we go to a third of Inferno to test these teams even further. Get ready for more overtime possibly on the cards. Now you can hear that map point. Not a series point just yet. Unless Sprout can get us 3 and bring us to a second OT. Feels just insane to ask for. Both teams going for these insane lurk plays with the smokes. If it wasn't thanks to anyone else other than Plopsky able to get that double, catching players in the mid-rotation, they would have been doomed to lose this round. They're willing to go back to a fairly default setup. Cello understands the double peek could be coming in soon, unable to land the flick. That's him taking down 4 players left from Sprout to keep the second map alive. They look so dominant, and to lose it now would be so rough going into the third of Inferno. And Plopsky with a double seems ready to confirm it. Siphon sees the shoulder of 1, able to take him down. But Rusty, of course, immediate trade. It's a good headshot, though it's through the corner. So Rusty finds the double up, and his position is known, and he's able to get it single-handedly. GODSENT to close map number 2, 19-15, and it looks like we'll be going to a third. Bit of a hiccup for a second, but we can just appreciate this frag reel of everything we've seen. It's been legendary so far. Yeah, just covering through, you can see GODSENT had that amazing start, and to think it all fell apart would have been an absolute nightmare. Something that Sprout looked like they were ready to achieve. They fought so hard. They did some ludicrous rounds, every single player chipping in with a clutch of their own. But GODSENT somehow find a way to get those last few rounds they needed to keep things together. And if it wasn't for Zello setting up, getting that rotation, Plopsky finding the space, C-Stare unable to find the success. And it's these last few rounds, these clutch plays, the multi-frags coming out, the aggressive position, Zello caught off guard. And immediately in the first defensive round on CT side, you just fail to find that success. Something GODSENT have to be happy with, because if they lost there without getting that, I don't know what the team would even do emotionally to recover when they've had similar games like that in the past. It's good to get some redemption and fight their way through. Looks like we got our last player MVP. This game, it's a bit hard to say. Let's see who we're giving it to in a moment. But of course, we got to go over the stats. See Draken and Rusty. Everyone doing their own. Surprising to see such a quiet game from Joel, but everyone else on both sides holding their weight. You can see Sprout going above and beyond in the fragging department. You assume this would be their game to close. The fact that GODSENT are able to recover is a miracle. Amazing plays from Rusty and Draken. Multiple important rounds from everyone on that side. You can see exactly how we got here. It was such a dominant streak from Sprout, and then GODSENT finally got those last few rounds they needed to at least bring it into OT, where it was a 4-0 starting on good old CT side for GODSENT. That 4-0 to finish it makes things look so clean. And things so exhausted. As if there's another map like this, I don't know how much of it I can endure. We'll have to find out. I'm gonna have to try to break some limits here for you guys, as I think things will be continuing. And we are good and ready to break. So I'm going to give myself a few minutes for my voice to recover. You guys get a few minutes, get rested up, as this third map of Inferno is anyone's game at this point. And I hope you'll join me for this fantastic conclusion for today's matches. everyone, and welcome back. We got a spicy 2 games to begin, and to get a third map to deal with this, we have to have some Inferno, and we can see those odds reflecting it, a 2.0 to 1.78. The odds now slightly favoring Godsent once again. Self-Trevor Victress having maybe a little bit of favoritism towards Sprout going into this third game. Though, I mean, as the odds show, it's anyone's affair at this point. This is getting absolutely insane, and it's showing no signs of stopping. As 2 maps and an overtime wasn't enough, we're going to go to a third, of course. Check out both these teams having a little bit more of a struggle on this map. Both these teams enjoying a little bit more success on their T side. So similar affairs to expect, as well as Godsent being a lot stronger on their pistols. That could be an important detail to measure in. Going in further. These are undeniably 2 equally matched teams. Godsent likely trying to get some redemption and build up those stats a bit further. Imagine that's going to be certainly the desire or goal. Though that's a lot easier said than done. Inferno's probably one of the most demanding, and if there's something that's going to follow the pace of something like Vertigo, where these mid-round rotations, these good reads are going to be so important to be able to find success, I imagine Inferno is going to be the map that's closest to Vertigo, at least in that aspect. Just Vertigo does it a lot more poorly. So with that in mind, you know, that's kind of the main reason why I'm leaning towards Sprout here. Though again, this is anyone's game. We genuinely have no idea, and both these teams don't want to give up. Both of them being wormed on in. Thought after the first one, maybe Godsent was tuckered out and going to fall apart, but that doesn't seem to be the case at all. No worries there. Everything's handled, and they're just setting up to begin this third important map. I don't think it really matters what side any of these teams start on. It's just how well are they able to keep up with the momentum, and these pistol rounds seem to be a bit influential in deciding that, with whether or not X team has a good start, as they're very aggressive with their economy and willing to take those risks early. Which means they're left a little bit weak when it comes to economy and unable to find that early impact that they're normally looking for. There we go. Map number 3, Sprout versus Godsent decider. And this is just for the round 1 of Swiss stage. Got so much more to go down. They're looking not change anytime soon. Quickly just handling some things. As certainly any dinner plans that might have been on hold have been extended, and if they haven't tucked it during some kind of break, they're certainly going in for the long haul. We have some dualies being tossed. Who for? CTR buying 2 pairs. I'm guessing both Joel and his teammate chilling with him of Rusty are going to be going for those. But nope, it's actually Plopsky to pick it up. Those 2, and even willing to take the duel with the USP early. A lot of upgraded weaponry on this T side too. At least a P250. On Stair. And Rusty will be relying on for this early contact. Good body shots. Getting all that damage in, even through the armor. It's good early impact to have, and this is where the issues can start to lie. Godsent playing the CT pistol so aggressively for info. But Joel wide swings out. He gets the info, and there's 4 players to knock, say hello. And I think there were sound cues heard on both sides. Draken with a good shot, but he needs to find the follow-up. Cyclone takes him down, and Barry is unable to find anything taken down, and it's a 3v3 retake scenario. Trying to quickly come back for the retake is Rusty. DR stuck USP and armorless. as that flashbang try to help out his team, able to flush out one of the T's. But every single one of them is in these pit stair positions on this back end of the site. They're able to make things so close and interesting. They're able to choke him out, going for the knife. Rusty takes him down. They don't have the defuse kit, but they should still have the round. And it is a successful pistol for GODSENT. Ooh, just barely by the skin of their teeth. Couldn't have been closer if I guessed. I was expecting the defuse, but not that close. And that knife's going to be bonus money for the CT side early. Wouldn't be helpful. Can save that up for whatever, or just use it on an A4, I suppose. That works as well. And of course, don't forget, as you can see, these lovely odds favoring GODSENT 1.65 to 2.2 for GODSENT, that you can click the banner below the stream to receive a $15 free bet when you sign up. That is available to new users. Just do a little scroll or check below the stream. Info on mobile. Plenty of different ways to check. Worst case, just go to the website yourself. Now we have aggressive positions from GODSENT. Just creeping on through, trying to clear this initial MP9. Leplopsky's so deadly. That's a good double. And finally, GODSENT having some good success early, not getting second rounded. Leplopsky finally getting burnt to a crisp. And again, CTR immediately finds the follow-up, and Joel will find some success of his own. There we go. That's a beautiful highlight of what we just saw. That double from Plopsky, essentially confirming the banana control and winning the second round for GODSENT. No mistakes here. Interestingly, double HEs on this T side brings CTR all the way down to 7, but Plopsky pushed past the HEs, connecting them directly onto these pistols with no armor. And just going for the spray, taking the shots, and all that nade damage. Rusty able to come on in, pick up another HE, bring it down the lane, and clean up the rest of the players. It's a clean 3-0. Now the first buy round, the first chance for Sprout to get their proper response in. And what a better response than Lonks finding that initial pick. Completely blind, trying to evade for the info. Amazing, he finds nothing. Barry able to take out Rusty. I don't even know where he found him. But it's just an amazing round from Lonks, able to find 2, break open this A site. I'm going to guess it was towards apartments with the information provided. What a steal. And sure, they choked the last map, but if they can keep this game competitive, keep in mind, this is with their 32-year-old coach standing in. This isn't the young gun of Refresh playing for them. This is the coach, the manager. Probably not the manager. Definitely not the manager for Sprout, I imagine. But he's probably not expecting to be put directly on the playing role, especially with how his stats have been in the past, generally being a rough time. But man, he is putting himself out there to do everything he can for this team. But here's the real question. Can they convert it a second time? Can they find more to follow it up? Or GODSENT able to continue the streak? Early utility, Banana just bathed in flames initially. Fully set up. Now, what's the next plan? They just want to go for the contact play. I guess they're a little bit low on utility. They spent half of it just to get the Banana control, and they want to go for this fast. Draken, rare missed shot within the 30-degree angle, unable to land it. And the Molly itself is what finds Plopsky. They're able to go for this plant. Not exactly the best situation for the retake, or to hold for the retake when it comes to where that bomb was planted, considering it stopped the spam and the heavy utility from coming through. And with the utility keeping GODSENT choked out, they're forced to all run away as 4 and just save to reset for the next round. This will allow for a borderline unicorn round, which is a bit wild. Just one player taken out, and that's all she wrote. It can be with Inferno sometimes. Very similar to Vertigo in that way, that the bomb site retakes can be pretty difficult to manage, except even more so on Inferno than even Vertigo. In Vertigo, you sort of just have to go for them because you have a fair shot. Just the T's normally getting the ramp control and denying you from even having a chance, and able to easily clear out the entire map of CTs. Versus an Inferno, so much crawling space with this map having 2 mids. Effectively 3 if you want to add Banana to the list. Just lots of little long angles for peaks and engagements to be had. Parts that might even be considered wasted space if you think about it. But each part serving its vital role. Zello wants to get a vital pick, finding the opportunity to catch someone out. And it's a good flashbang to force Zello back. We'll be able to catch the opportunity just yet towards CTR. Bang slowing down. Utility being thrown for them to set up for A, or at least make it look like they're setting up for A with all this utility spent. But even then still, they're just keeping a heavy rotation player available of Draken with this AWP as he finds his first. And Stare able to peek through. I think he should have been able to see the shoulder. Almost gets taken down, but now it's going to be a direct nade onto both of them, bringing them both down to the 70 HP mark, which means this MP9 can go to town and start snacking. The CT smoke's faded. There's no participation needed even by the Opper, as the last player left Siphon with 10 seconds left needs to run to try to save. And we'll go into the underpass to do so. It's a beautiful 4th round obtained by GODSENT. I have to wonder what the next big play is for them to go for. As the play is to go for a timeout. As sure, they won that round, but it's 4-2. It's close. Both teams want to spend a second strategizing, figuring out what the next game plan is. As if there's a map, these CT rounds matter a lot more. It's Inferno. Want to be able to maintain that good lead. With all the AKs, AWP in hand, The Sprout lineup's going to be so intimidating. Now, what do you do on the side of Sprout? Need to be a bit more careful with taking duels. Being aware of the ability of getting caught out. Well, GODSENT have to just keep up what they've been doing. Been having a fantastic success with it. And getting ready. It's a good flashbang to break through, but good anti-flash position from Stair to respond. And even swinging, finding the double onto ZTR. And they'll hop away with 2, and they'll happily go towards an A-bomb site. They're set in a 5v3, doesn't matter where they go. Joel only able to find the 1. It'll be a miracle for Draken to find more than that. Attempts the quick flick and immediately starts running away to save this AWP. After all, the CT economy of this GODSENT side is still far from an ideal spot. They want to hold on to these 2 weapons. A Sprout bring us 1 round closer to a tied game, 4-4. It's like it's going to be a while till this gets further. Do not want this to go through so easily. And a wise move from Sprout, understanding that it's best to stay back, not go too aggressive. Better to try to save and build up some of their own cash. Okay, that's an important detail. Makes me wonder, what do Sprout have in store for round number 8? Shown a good handful of things. Pros and cons to both. Barry's been impressing us so far today. Going to have to keep that up. It's a fantastic aggressive play. Understanding the aggression. Barry not afraid to understand the advantage of the timings and his situation. Won't let that discourage him. And he even finds the trade for Rusty. Able to help out his team 1 at a time, making it 4v3. I'm just waiting for that smoke to fade. It's another fantastic trade scenario, just playing around that man advantage. Lonks is completely aware of the situation. And even though the spray from Joel doesn't connect with that FAMAS, that's okay, because ZTR can easily get a double with the MP9. Such a strong weapon. He has to find the way to get the headshots. And somehow, the AK is unable to win the duel. ZTR lives with just 1 HP. It's a bit of a miracle, if not a single spam shot through the apartment to keep him down. And GODSENT will keep that advantage 5-3 to barely stay alive. Have to wonder what the next surprise is from Sprout. A round where they had the advantage just until the last second was in their court. Everything was set up to be a massive victory. It is an absolute crime to see that stolen away. Can't imagine there's many options for them to do. Draken and ZTR with 1 each early. ZTR, you know what? Make it 2. Full banana control. Sprout with a rare failure on greeting, trying to get this control early, getting punished. And it will cost them the entire round, even though there's a mix buy still in these CTs. 2v5 should be a little bit too much to ask, especially with no map control to speak of any kind. You see even the rotations going through the MP9. It's great. It's not that great. Though the 1 for 1200 is happily a well worth it investment to make. Even players boosted up multiple of these ruin boxes. Lonks going for the flick, lands the legs, but it's just a little too high up to get the proper chest shot in. And GODSENT make it 6. Now, finally, after a couple of buys, able to tuck in a couple of rounds. They're sent back. Broken once again. No money to work with. Nothing in deed to help find them favor of any kind to be optimistic about. Yeah, though that won't stop the P250 from being able to get a kill off the waterfall, and they're in fact looking for more. They're able to isolate Joel, take him down, leave it to a 3-on-3. I don't know if that gap was seen through the smoke, but he can certainly see it now, though he also sees his teammate fall from Lonks going aggressive with the AWP. Double flashbangs to pop flash across, and it works perfectly. A chance the shot does go through. But now, the heavy off angle, the Tech 9, the mobility from Zello finds one, but unable to find the double Rusty to get the clutch. If it wasn't for that dang pesky op shot connecting before the flash, it would have been a 1 round for Sprout. But instead, it's Godsent to recover, looking great finally on a CT side to start 7 rounds in their favor. Oh. Have to ask once again, what are Sprout going to do? Feels like they should call another timeout. Sure, the half isn't slipping away from them, but that could happen at any moment, especially if they lose that duel. They're able to save the day. Brought down to 33, he's so low. The trade's going to be easy for Plopsky, especially with the space to freely move away. There's no way for the trade to come in, and they're not ready for Draken to be prepared for a push through the smoke, able to get that easy punish. Joel almost caught off guard, but it's good damage with the op from Draken to take out Zello, leaving it to a 2-on-3. Decent chance of Godsent to get this retake going once again. Good utility, able to smoke and molly everywhere they please, but it's a good flashbang that should have killed Plopsky, but Barry, again, he is in this coach position, can't excuse a few blunders, but that's certainly the first notable one we've seen so far, and it's going to cost a lot, as it means Sprout are going to be left in another mixed buy, as Godsent confirm a winning half with 8. This is looking beautiful from them. Taking a look, Inferno, the most played map in the initial season of good old Pro League, and we have a slight CT favor, but pretty tight halves overall. So that's what we're expecting at the second. Good to see you. Appreciate all those amazing entries that have come out from Plopsky to help them out. Always able to find the trade potential too, even when he isn't on entry duty. Current game chicken in the apps. Don't want to get timing going for those info peaks, relying on the player to get that extra little inch of height, be able to quietly jump across, and a shoulder was caught out before the head was, so Long's able to just hold down a spray on Draken. No response provided. There's no way to find one or even expect the requirement to. And now they take a gamble stack. 4 towards the A site. A little bit ambitious, and considering there's 5 setting up towards B, maybe possibly a little bit foolish. Though ZTR will get the info just in time. They haven't given up the site yet, and just try to spray through, push through the smoke, unable to find the first. And the M4 of Joel with the boost from Plopsky, able to find one each, 3v3 retake scenario. ZTR trying to lurk through the smoke to get the trade, but the damage has been done. Siphon finding 2, leaves ZTR in the 1v2. And this should be a round done and dusted. Sprout finally get their way back with 4. They close this and keep this an even half. We're expecting more OT. The question is, what do we expect from these teams, at least to start? That's sort of the big, juicy question here. With everything that's been given ZTR and stuck on just pistols, but a first pick with the 5.7 is already, speaking of problems, they're willing to go to this B site that has been stacked. Contact goes in, but the spray transfer is amazing. Stare with 3. The follow-up from Longs to take out the last remaining, and it's Joel just left alone on A with the USP. No fortune for him in this round, I'm afraid. Oh, that is a minor detail. It'll just be $300 or possibly a full buy destroyed if you can find a kill. Fortunately, a little bit careful about that, not allowing the opportunity to present itself. Now we can see a pretty good timeout. Things got sketchy for a second. A good, clean initial pick from CTR could give the space for GODSENT to find the success they need to keep the CT rounds going. Definitely looking at a 9.6. Or possibly a 10.5, never know. Small handful of possibilities. But I am sold towards GODSENT being able to just barely win out the half and having classic 6-9 scoreline. With that, a little bit slow on one of the initial CT players. We have all that full utility being spent to fight for that banana control early. Once again, as that fight continues, and it's direct nades onto Stair, which I feel like should have done more. I'll be certainly happy with that. And there's a bit of a gap through that smoke. It's a bit red where that position he was hiding was, but they're not going to be reading Rusty also hiding through the smoke. Trying to find just the right timing, and he finds 3. Tears them to shreds. Perfect transfer. There's a minute 19 left, but Stair just has a piece of utility out, while the op of Draken finds 9 for GODSENT. My goodness, they can't get anything to go their way. There we go. Got a MAC-10 for Barry. I mean, it almost felt like he's been better with the MAC-10 than the rifle, so I can't even blame him for it. A little bit of certified Furia strats, and just barely unable to connect that second spray. Get that 5th bullet to allow Zello to be taken out by that A4. As its spray is. And similar stories will continue with that ludicrous shot. Able to find a response. We're starting to set up towards a 9.6. Players are scared to rotate through these CT smokes without the information provided. Only one not scared enough is Draken. He'll take that op wherever he pleases. Having to take a full gamble rotate of at least 1 towards the B site. Need to know where you'll be retaking from. This is where the advantage should start to sit in. It wasn't for the fact that there's just 40 seconds left. They have to go soon. Starting to run on a timer. And the timer will begin planted on the A site. Plopsky able to call that to his teammate to go for a rotate, except he tries to go for an off angle by rotating through mid, and that is exactly where he is expected. Popovsky able to outread one of the flanks. Has to go for a lot of pre-fires, unable to land the flick on the second to have a chance. GODSENT win this first half 9-6 on the third and deciding map. Barely able to scavenge through. Keep things as competitive as you can imagine. Now we can see those pistol round odds as we go to the second pistol. Odds favoring GODSENT 1.42 to 2.8. I think this is overrating it a little bit. GODSENT have made some miracles happen, and there's nothing stopping these Sprout players from doing the same. Maybe they haven't looked as great on Inferno on the past. There's nothing saying they can't be. And with how troublesome this lineup of GODSENT can be, I just have to wonder if they're able to get this pistol. Are they able to keep up that momentum early to have the lead? Or else are they going to be just simply stuck with what they have? This is going to be a lot easier of a lead for Sprout to close initially than the second map. Could have one of many things put into play. It won't stop Rusty from trying to find that initial contact with the Glock all the way up mid, and for the dualies to be the one to actually find it. Damage already done, though not without its consequences. Siphon finds one, and trying to jump away. Joel with an amazing flick onto Lonks. Clear him out, and all this running can easily be heard. They're somehow able to find one bouncing through that, but that's all that will be found as the CT players are sandwiched between Barry and Siphon. That's a fantastic T-side round to start. That's exactly what you want to go for. You hear the good old running of feet, bit of trotting. Just going for that initial contact, some cheeky peeks. And CTR catching the timing to pop flash through. The 4-spot shotgun will be denied any success, cleared out instead. Sprout really want to get something going early on the CT side. It's a nice shot from Barry. He's going to need more help where that came from. Won't be able to hold this site on his own, especially against 4. Just hoping that maybe, just maybe, they start rotating to help out and catch something in the chaos. With all this utility going down, there should be no chance for success. He even peeks out into them, gives away the information. Completely caught out. It's another bomb plant for GODSENT. And looks like they have gotten absolutely tired of these previous games, and they want to have a very lovely stage set work to close. Bomb ticks down, the classic 2-player saving, even though they don't really have anything to work with. One day, we'll be able to work with it. But not in this current new economy meta. It's going to be the reality we got to deal with for now. and Rusty. Both these teams a little bit overconfident in these bomb radiuses. We've seen a few deaths and wasted money because of it. A little bit of a questionable move. Now the split play. Again, GODSENT able to just keep this lead going. We've seen good T sides from them. Just a matter of closing it out, especially after having such a clean CT side. Looks absolutely amazing. Winter Husello needs to get ready for his initial contact. Even setting up the flashbang just to go for the peak. To get some control and a scout tag. No cigar just yet. Now, at least the fake utility comes in. Get some information. Creeping on through. Just all up to Draken to seal this round. With the flank, the Galil spray is a little bit rough. They will be able to recover it and make it good enough to not be problematic in the same way ever again. Is a good success to have, and of course with that bomb down, it's going to be another 45 seconds for everyone in GODSENT to possibly try to hunt down the remaining weapon. Or more realistically, just join in the save train. Though not before taking a kill before doing so. Happy to take some swings. A little bit cocky to go for that, especially without the armor. It's going to be dangerous to this defuse, and he just fakes it, understanding they're going to have a full buy in the next. If only he had a kit and time in that situation, it would have been a different story. But instead, it's Draken with this rough flank. Maybe not too comfortable with the Galil, but can only get comfortable with so much, especially with Opicedra. Oh man, just going for the swings. Wanting to go for that info, and it's going to cost them everything. Barry gets caught out. That's a man disadvantage once again for Sprout. GODSENT are looking to sprint across the finish line. They can see the end of the tunnel of this marathon, and they're sprinting towards it on a speed that is unprecedented in this series so far, if not at just the start. Seems like Sprout might have run out of gas, spending it all too early on Vertigo, and really getting it burnt on Ancient. Really needed to close it on that second map, and they're starting to feel the pressure now. 2 players left to save CT once again. GODSENT 3 away from closing this full series in just a few more rounds. This should have been so much more than it was. Bit of a nightmare. You can see it, just those opening kills. Draken getting that kill on Arch is just the twist of the knife in the back. Sprout struggling to find much on their defense, or their offense. And their defense isn't faring much better either. Disturbingly quiet at the moment. Throw some counter utility, try to contend against GODSENT. And a good kill from Lonks early towards second mid means he can play super aggressive towards this, but somehow missing that spray, failing to connect, and Plopsky finds an equaling pool. And now the weak buy, the mixed pistols are unable to convert. CTR with a double, and it's all up to Lonks. Maybe a shot or two from Zello on these lower HP players. But it's a lot to ask of them, especially when there's a player just hidden in the smoke, flanking from behind, and he's able to find one before he's taken out. Now, Plopsky and Rusty just have to play a bit of a name game. Just a little bit of chicken as the entire site is cleared. The timing's found. He misses the initial shots, able to recover it, and it's 14 for GODSENT. 2 away from Sprout. This looked like their series. This looked like their situation to get just a dominant streak going, and that's now all about to be stolen away right under their noses on Inferno. Now with this, Lonks bring out the AWP to attempt to respond, and it's a beautiful initial shot, but the double HEs will make sure that it's not free, and of course it's double off. Zello to find one of his own. At least get a man advantage for Sprout. Such a long way to go to make this comeback viable, and an expensive way too if they want to go for it with double ops. That's a lot to ask for. I don't know if they can do it. It's just being challenged on this next level. Patiently waiting for these T's to interact. It would have to be a miraculous double opening, and with all this counter util set up, should be well and prepared. Tons of counter utility, fire all over the place. Having to dance. Plopsky should expect his pillar position to have some kind of presence, but unable to clear it just yet. Now being seen. Stare able to find one, but Plopsky again with the double just before Zello finds the op shot on the first. Plopsky trying to take him down before the rotation of last remaining player. And now things are a bit awkward as he kind of smoked off his teammate. He has to run through, and it's Plopsky with the 4K to get GODSENT 15. Revenge for all the trouble that they've gone through today. They've had a bit of a rough time on Ancient. They redeemed themselves there, getting destroyed on Vertigo. Able to recover it and absolutely dominate their opponent of Sprout on Inferno. And who better to do it than Plopsky himself? Beautiful job. And now GODSENT's time to call a timeout. The 15-11 might have been nice to call a timeout previously in the second map. But you know what's better than that? 15-6. Full control under it. Feels like they have Sprout fully grasped in their hands, and there's no running away from this. It's going to take a miracle to find a way through. And if GODSENT didn't find that OT after all those miracle rounds that Sprout stole away from them, round by round at a time, we wouldn't be in this situation. Ready to make magic happen. Possibly the last buy of Sprout for their first series in this tournament. Apart from their last, at least 2 more best of 3s remaining. And Rusty to find the first. Lonks with a quick trade, trying his best to hold off these players. It's good damage on the CTR. We'll force everyone to molly the top of that banana to make sure it's cleared out. Now Zello, understanding the importance of the smoke and not giving it away too early to Good read, and the flashbang's perfect. Allows Zello to follow up, as well as Barry with these MP9s, causing a bit of an issue as Siphon now finds one with the Deagle. This could have been the close for Godsent, but instead, Sprout able to find some individual success and get some duels to keep everything together. Again, they've had such a dominant streak. They're able to bring out another buy, and those direct nades could have finished off Stair. The knife's edge brought down to 34. They really want to rely on these double ops. Again, they only have one more to hold in their hands. Ready to catch this initial pick on the cross, but instead it's good spam. Bringing Zello down low to 18. Trying to finish him off. Siphon wildly spraying that AK, trying to keep them back, not wanting them to push onto this A site so easily. They can feel the fear and the pressure that they're about to be taken out. Don't forget, you could also take out through BetBoom to get a $15 bonus on your deposit. Time's running short, at least for this game. Have to wait until next time. You weren't able to catch it fast enough. Don't forget a $15 free deposit as Zello with his 15 HP deposits around, takes out Plopsky. No clutches from him this time. So they almost line up. He's able to just take the duels one by one, separate them, and leave it a 2v4. This would be a nightmare for Sprout to lose. No reason to believe they find it, but the flashbang's a little bit awkward, and ZTR's able to tuck on by. They don't seem aware of this, but they are now, as Siphon is caught exposed, taken out, and it's Barry with a double, keeping Sprout alive. 8-15, 7 more match and series points for their first tournament game handed over to them. Man, just feels like a matter of time, but if Sprout somehow find a way to bring this back, I have no idea what we have in store. The fact that this game's still going is insane. Felt like it was all done. It was all hopeless. And man, what a round to potentially steal it. Joel has been a bit quiet this entire series, but the opening Deagle shot to find some space, immediately shut down by Barry and Siphon. The insanity is recovered. Just as the first pick goes through, longs to finish it. And it's okay, Sprout about able to get double digits. A bit worried, but the recovery is in fact there. Nothing being pulled off just yet. How much longer? Early utility. All of the nades going deep on both sides, so none of them connect. Feels like a rare situation to get to see that. Where the banana ends up so clean. Desperately setting up. And the HP does favor Godsent a bit into this. All they have to do is find this one opening on the B site. There's a minute left to burn through this util. Slow things down. They just need to bait a bit of it on A. That's the only big difference maker. Double smokes and a molly. That one arch side smoke followed with a lurk on first oranges with a smoke, blocking vision, forcing these players to adjust their strategy. That's about all. Otherwise, they're just executing in there directly as normal. The first one down, 4 left to keep the hopes alive. Cello's taken out. So quiet, waiting the best he can. Siphon finds 3. Somehow a miracle to keep Sprout alive in this. This should have been GG, and this should have been the call. The plant just now going down, and Draken might be just the one to end it. Hot looking for the one taps, and he finds both of them. Clean precision with the flicks. With that AK, doesn't need the AWP to do it. 16-9. GODSENT dominate over Sprout to close this 2-1. Move on to that 1-0 group. And this has to feel rough for Sprout, as it looks like GODSENT were going to have to be going back to the drawing board in the middle of that second map. That things were doomed to be over. That there was nothing they could do but accept their fate and make a recovery later on. Instead, they find the mental fortitude. They find the comfort to pull themselves through this Inferno map, and it's a bit of a magical performance. Everyone from both these teams fighting so hard, and somehow GODSENT, despite already playing a best of 3 today, having to immediately switch gears and go into this one, is able to keep the momentum going. The mental fortitude is absolutely insane from these guys. And to do it against opposition like Sprout is no joke either. That is a team ranked in the top 30, just shut down in a best of 3 by GODSENT. Of course, Barry is coaching and standing in for what normally would be refresh. But it's not like it was a bad series from him. Sure, Barry was a little bit rough on this last map of Inferno. That might have been the decision maker, but he did everything possible to let his team find success. Just appreciate the last of these amazing frags that came through. Just the aggression coming from GODSENT, what was the last round of a half, is just so dangerous to go for, especially considering the fact that Klopsky was able to go for that clutch, have just the hopping players bouncing across, Sprout able to track and keep up with them. But once those SMGs were out, that pistol was dealt with to keep things interesting. GODSENT were aware they could run away with it, and there is nothing anyone on Sprout could do to answer it just at the end. Some of the best highlights coming from these Sprout players, but in the end, it's not enough. It's well fought, but they're going to enjoy their success. And with that, it was an amazing 3 games, and we can see that odd finish was favoring GODSENT, and I guess we could